What's going on, guys? Welcome to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Terry. My co host, Trey, is going to be absent this week due to employment obligations. Unfortunately, sometimes jobs get in the way of us having fun. So he's adulting this week. I'm adulting too. I'm just adulting on a different schedule. But he'll be back next week, and we'll pick up with our live podcast. Tonight's going to be pretty quick, pretty simple. I'm going to go over some news from the college and NFL, the latest news, and then we're going to review last week's games, both college and NFL, and then we're going to come back on Thursday. We'll be doing another recording. We won't be live this week, and we'll do some predictions for next weekend. There's some big games coming up again next weekend, both in the NFL and in college, and we'll move on from there. So, with all that being said, appreciate everybody joining us here tonight, or anybody that's going to watch. Y'all's support is extremely, extremely appreciated, and we're going to get into the news. I guess the biggest thing right now is Alabama's dealing with some injuries from the Georgia game. Their linebacker Russell is out with a foot injury. The big news is obviously Sam Pittman got fired from Arkansas after getting blown out by Notre Dame. Bobby Petrino has taken over as interim head coach. So Bobby Petrino's back at Arkansas. If y'all remember, he got dismissed from Arkansas for wrecking a motorcycle and having a female graduate assistant on the back of it while he was married. So they had a little drama down there, and he was dismissed. But he's apparently cleaning house down there as if he may be in line to pick up that head coaching job if they don't go out and hire anybody else. Florida is playing Texas this week, but they're going to be without their freshman wide receiver Wilson. He's out with an injury. And I guess another big part of the big news is for you guys that listen to Paul Feinbaum. Obviously, he has his show on ESPN. He's thinking about leaving ESPN and running for the U.S. Senate. So, Paul, if you run, let me know. I'll vote for you. Good to go. I'm going to miss you on the show, though. Love listening to you. All right, so with that being said, we're going to get into some scores from last weekend. Last week was an interesting week for a lot of teams. Some teams won that I wasn't expecting to win. Some teams lost that I definitely wasn't expecting to lose. There were some games that were a lot closer than I was expecting them to be. So with that being said, we're going to go back to last Friday, and we're going to talk about the Virginia-Florida State game. Florida State was ranked number 8, I believe, at the time. And they were slotted and picked to win this game. I can't remember what the over-under was. I know Trey talked about it last week, but Virginia pulled out an upset. Unranked Virginia pulled out an upset over Florida State, beating them 46-38 in overtime. So good things for Virginia in the future, I believe. Tony Elliott used to be the offensive coordinator for Clemson. Took over that head coaching job down in Virginia, and let's face it, when he took it over, Virginia was in a bad spot football-wise. Virginia is typically either a basketball or a baseball school, but he's doing some good things with their football program, and they did beat Florida State. I believe Virginia is actually ranked now. If I'm not mistaken, it's either 23 or 24, and I'll go over the top 25 after I get done going over these scores. But good for Virginia, good win for Virginia, but bad loss for Florida State. Unless Virginia continues to keep winning. So it's going to be another year where the ACC is going to be up in arms about who's going to play for the ACC championship game. Right now, the only consistent seems to be Miami. Moving on, Arizona and TCU played each other on Friday night as well. That was a close game. Arizona State. Arizona State beat TCU 27-24. Levitt for Arizona State, 27 for 39, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns. Their running back Brown, 21 carries, 134 yards. And Tyson, their receiver, 8 reception, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of offense in that game, not a lot of scoring. A lot of us were expecting this to be a blowout or a high-scoring game between these two high-powered offenses, but they just couldn't get in the end zone, it looks like. So But Arizona State pulls that one out, and I believe they're also ranked new in the rankings as well this week. Finishing out Friday night, Houston and Oregon State. Again, a close game, 27-24. Houston beat Oregon State. Oregon State is now 0-5. They have not won a game yet this year. That football program is just in disarray. Connor Wegman, who left Texas A&M last year and transferred over to Houston. Houston's now 4-0. He was 20 for 36, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he looks like he's having a little bit better success at Houston than he did when he was over at Texas A&M. Moving into Saturday, so the noon game that everybody was talking about was that Ohio State Washington game. Honestly, I thought Ohio State was going to score more points than they did in this game. They only won 24-6. I did not watch this game. Unfortunately, me and God were having some issues with my motorcycle. It took up about 6 hours, so I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the early games. But Ohio State wins 24-6. They stay at number 1. Julian Sayin, 22 for 28, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was just expecting a lot more points out of this game than what we got. So I don't know if that was hats off to Washington's defense or if Ohio State's just having some issues on offense right now. Again, I didn't watch, so I don't know. Oregon and Penn State, overtime, double overtime. Oregon pulls out the win in Penn State. I don't know what James Franklin is doing up in Penn State, honestly. He cannot win a big game against a top 5 opponent. And he's barely doing well against top 10 opponents. Now, if Penn State, you're happy with that, you're happy with your 9-win season, your 10-win season, I mean, I guess you're going to keep him. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if Penn State ever wants an opportunity to play for a national championship, you got to start beating the Ohio States. You got to start beating the Oregons. You got to beat the Texas. You got to beat the Alabamas. You got to beat the Georgias. And Penn State just can't do it right now. I don't know what it is they're missing. It ain't much because when they play everybody else, they dominate. But I don't know if it's nerves, if it's they get in their own head or what. But y'all got to do something different up there. I saw a little bit of this game. It was a good game. I honestly thought Oregon was going to score a little bit more than what they did, so hats off to Penn State's defense. They played really well. But, they held Oregon's quarterback to only 248 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 29 for 39. I was expecting him to throw for at least 350 or more. But James Franklin, Penn State, good luck. A big game that I did watch, LSU and Ole Miss. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer than what it was. Ole Miss did win. They beat LSU 24-19. Chambliss was 23 for 39, 314 yards, 1 touchdown. Lacey ran for 23 times, 87 yards, 1 touchdown. LSU just stalled out offensively. Their defense was keeping them in the game most of that game. And then typical SEC game, offense is not producing, defense gets tired, other team runs away with it. I think that's what happened here. It's only one loss for LSU. I believe Ole Miss is going to keep winning, so it's a good loss for LSU. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if LSU wants to get back into the college football playoff talks, they've got to win out. They can't lose another game. If they do, they're out. The big game from Saturday night, and I know Trey would probably love to be here to talk about this one right now. Alabama and Georgia. I watched this game with Trey, and the first half was like a boxing match. I mean, they were trading blows back and forth, back and forth. At one time, Georgia was down. They kicked, screamed, and fought to get back into it. But Alabama subsequently won 24-21. Nobody scored in the fourth quarter at all. So hats off to the defenses. But Georgia, you got issues on offense. You cannot run up the middle, and throw a screen pass for your entire offense. So, Mike Bobo, I'll say it for Trey, you're trash. You call way too conservatively for a game of that stature. And Kirby Smart, if you ever hear this, fire Mike Bobo on behalf of Trey and behalf of your Georgia fans. Go out there and get somebody that's going to call a better offensive game, because that was horrible on y'all's part. Good win for Alabama. Don't know if it's going to be a good loss for Georgia yet, because I don't think Alabama's going to continue to win. I see Alabama having a 9-3 season or 8-4 season. They've still got to play LSU. They still got to play Auburn. They still got to play Mississippi State. I believe they play Oklahoma. When they get into the meat of their schedule, I don't see Alabama going undefeated. And I said this at the beginning of the year. I do not think we're going to have an undefeated SEC team this year. I think at a minimum, all the big names that are going to be playing for the championship are going to have at least one loss. That includes Ole Miss, Texas A&M. So I think that I just don't know if this loss for Georgia is going to be a good loss. It's going to just depend on how well Alabama does for the rest of the year. Moving on to Auburn, Texas A&M. I saw the highlights from this game. Auburn's defense kept them in this game 100%. But Auburn is just another year, the same old story. They have zero offensive production. Zero. They lost 16-10 in Texas A&M with the 12th man. So it could have been a lot worse. Auburn didn't score in the first quarter, and they didn't score in the third quarter. But Hugh Freeze has got some issues down there, and honestly, if they don't win 8 games this year, which they very well may not, I don't see Auburn hanging on to Hugh Freeze for another year. I think he'll be gone, and they'll be looking for a new coach. Indiana and Iowa, they play 20-15. Indiana won. Mendoza 13 for 23, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Close game. I thought Iowa was going to win this game because they were at Iowa, but Indiana just ended up being the better team. Indiana's now 5-0 in the Big Ten. So I believe Iowa's dreams for any kind of college football playoff or maybe even the Big Ten championship is probably gone with that second loss. But we'll see. Iowa State played Arizona. Iowa State got a big win. They're now 5-0 as well. They beat Arizona 39-14. So Iowa State's still on a roll. We'll keep them going. Probably one of the best games of Saturday, in my opinion, was the Tennessee-Mississippi State game. They went back and forth, and honestly, I did not think that Mississippi State had the offensive firepower to hang with Tennessee, but they did. For Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, 24 for 40, 335 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. For Mississippi State, Blake Shapen, 18 for 29, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. For Russian, Deshaun Bishop for Tennessee, 11 carries, 72 yards. And then Mississippi State's rushing attack was just off the chain. Fluff Bothwell, 23 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devon Booth, 17 carries, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. Both the quarterbacks spread the ball around. Mike Matthews, 6 receptions, 118 yards for Tennessee. Chris Brazzell II, 6 receptions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown for Tennessee. Aiden Williams, 1 reception, 49 yards. Sadoya Chirora, I think I say that right, 4 receptions, 40 yards, 1 touchdown. Brandon Thompson, 3 receptions, 33 yards. Mississippi State looks good. They were undefeated. They've got they're 0-1 in the SEC right now. They got their first loss, but I think if they continue to play the way they're playing, they can pull out some wins and against some teams and maybe upset some people's dreams. So y'all hang in there, Mississippi State. Keep them cowbells are ringing down there. Let's see. Moving on. So a game that really surprised me was the Georgia Tech-Wake Forest game. I had Georgia Tech picked to win this game and win by big because I just wasn't expecting Wake Forest to be a good team this year. Boy, they gave Georgia Tech hell. Georgia Tech scored 3 points in the first quarter. Wake Forest came back and scored 17 in the second quarter. And Georgia Tech scored 14 in the third quarter. Wake Forest with 3. And then Georgia Tech came back and scored 6 in the fourth quarter. And then they scored 7 in overtime. Wake Forest went for it. Everybody saw that play. They went for 2. I think that if they had went for the 1 and tied it up and got the ball back, I think they would have won that game because I think Georgia Tech was just gassed at that point. Haynes King had another good game, 28 for 42, 243 yards, 1 touchdown. I know he had some rushing yards as well. Yeah, he had 21 carries, 106 yards. I'm telling you, though, Georgia Tech, you can't survive on that. Your boy's going to end up getting hurt, and then what are you going to do? So, but yeah, I was surprised, and Georgia Tech needs to fix their issues if they expect to continue to be a contender for the ACC, because they are not going to be able to keep doing what they're doing, playing the way they're playing, and expect to get to the ACC championship. Vanderbilt is 5-0. They beat Utah State 55-35. Pavia was 26 for 34, 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. I believe Vanderbilt has Alabama next, I think. So Bama fans, watch out. You might have another Tennessee. Missouri blew out Massachusetts without an issue. Another big game that was on the slot, Illinois and USC. USC lost 32-34. USC is now 4-1, 2-1 in the Big Ten. I don't think the Big Ten is going to have an undefeated team except for maybe Ohio State and Oregon. I think they'll be the only ones undefeated, but I believe they have to play each other at some point. So there may not be any undefeated teams in the Big Ten as well by the time the end of the season's over with, because there's still a possibility Ohio State can drop a game. We touched on Sam Pittman getting fired at Arkansas. Last thing he needed was to get blown out at home by Notre Dame, and that's exactly what happened. Carr threw for 22 for 30 for 354 yards and 4 touchdowns. Price ran 13 carries, 86 yards and 1 touchdown. Notre Dame beats Arkansas 56-13. Now Bobby Petrino's back at the helm down there. I honestly, if Arkansas wins 6 games, they may stick with Bobby Petrino as their head coach. Who knows? Colorado loses again. They're now 0-2 in the Big 12. They're 2-3 on the season. BYU is undefeated. They're 4-0, 1-0 in the Big 12. They beat Colorado 24-21. Colorado's losing close games, but they can't figure out what the issue is. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's probably offensive. They need to figure something out if they're going to salvage their season, because right now they are definitely out of the Big 12 championship, and they are definitely out of the college football playoff. So all they can do now is get a good bowl game and send their seniors off with a good year. Minnesota beat Rutgers 31-28. Duke beat Syracuse 38-3. Louisville beat Pittsburgh 34-27. That was another good game. That was close, back and forth between those two teams. Cincinnati beat Kansas 37-34. Kansas State beat UCF 34-20. Kansas State's another one of those teams that playing for a good bowl game now at this point with 3 losses. North Texas beat South Alabama. Ohio beat Bowling Green. Central Michigan beat Eastern Michigan. Let's see. I believe the only other games that were... Northwestern beat UCLA. UCLA's now 0-4. Their season's pretty much over with. They don't even have a head coach anymore. And Nico Amamaliva, whatever your name is, you sucked at Tennessee and you suck at UCLA. You might as well give up football. I mean, you're horrible. You're a horrible quarterback. It's not you. It proves that it wasn't Tennessee, that it was you. Cal beat Boston College. California is now 4-1 on the season. Baylor beat Oklahoma State 45-27. Baylor's 3-2. So Dave Aranya down there doing some good things, getting that Baylor team turned around. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Rich Rod drops one to Utah, 48-14. And I believe that is going to be, other than the late games, Virginia Tech beat NC State. Yeah, and then Boise State won against App State, and Stanford beat San Jose State. Kentucky and South Carolina. South Carolina bounced back. Lenore Sellers played for them, 11-14, 153 yards. South Carolina is now 3-2. I mean, their championship goals are shot. They're one of those teams that are playing for a bowl game, and Kentucky's 0-2 in the SEC. I don't see them winning very many games left in the SEC as well. So this may very well be Mark Stoops last year down in Kentucky as well. So with all that being said, that was college for the weekend. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to get my information up on the NFL, and we're going to cruise through that. Be right back. Appreciate it, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Terry. Again, Trey's out this week due to employment obligations. Unfortunately, due to our jobs, we have slight schedule changes sometimes where we have to work during the evening. And this is his week to do that. Mine's coming up in about 2 or 3 where Trey may be doing a show by himself. But we appreciate everybody joining. We're going to jump on into the NFL with some news. Obviously, Tyreek Hill got injured in the game on Sunday down in Miami. He, I believe it was his ACL, which was confirmed. His surgery went well, and he is set to play again. He will be back next year. He's done for this year. Brock Purdy is questionable against the Rams this coming up weekend. Not sure if he's going to play. He's still having issues with his toe. And Raiders Miller has a fracture and an ankle sprain. Not sure when he's going to be back. And for the guys that watched the Baltimore game, Lamar was injured. And there's really no update on him coming out of NFL right now. So I guess we'll wait as they get closer to the Sunday or whenever their next game is to see if he's going to be playing or if he's going to be taking time off. So with that, we're going to pick up with Sunday's scores and highlights. The Steelers and the Vikings played. They were in Ireland and Dublin. The Steelers beat the Vikings 24-21. Carson Wentz went 30 for 46, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers was 18 for 22, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Jordan Mason, 16 carries, 57 yards. Kenneth Gainwell for Pittsburgh, 19 carries, 99 yards. Caleb Johnson had 6 carries for 22 yards. DK Metcalf went off. He had 5 receptions, 126 yards, 1 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 10 receptions, 126 yards, no touchdowns. Jordan Addison had 4 receptions, 114 yards, and no touchdown. And Xavier Scott had 6 receptions, 43 yards, and 1 touchdown. So that was the early game. I believe that game was 9 o'clock Eastern time for us on Sunday, because since they were out in Ireland for that day. The Falcons beat the Commanders. Michael Penix was 20 for 26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson, 17 carries, 75 yards. And Drake London, 8 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdowns. This was a good win for the Falcons. They couldn't afford to lose another game. They're 2-2 on the year. Washington now is 2-2 on the year. The Bills blew out the Saints, which what we were expecting to happen. Josh Allen had a good game, 16 for 22, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cook, 22 carries, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Saints are 0-4. So I don't know what they got going on down there, but it's not going to be a good year for Saints fans if they don't get this turned around. Kellen Moore needs to figure something out. His first year as head coach down there. The Lions beat the Browns 34-10. Let's see. Jared Goff was 16 for 27, 168 yards. Jamar Gibbs, 15 carries, 191 yards. Joe Flacco, 16 for 34, 184 yards, 2 interceptions. Judkins carried the ball 21 times, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. So Detroit just keeps on rolling, winning games that they need to be winning. They're 3-1. Panthers, after that huge win against Atlanta last week, come out and drop an egg against the Patriots and lose 42-13. Drake May, 14 for 17, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Panthers have got some issues, man. They need to get that stuff squared away. Kind of the big news on the game on the week was Jackson Dart and the Giants beating the Chargers 21-18. Justin Herbert, 23 for 41, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jackson Dart came in 13 for 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. He also carried the ball 10 times, 54 yards, and 1 touchdown. Cam Scatterboot, 25 carries, 79 yards. This Giants team is a different team with Jackson Dart at quarterback, and I do not foresee them going back to Russell Wilson. And I foresee Russell Wilson being traded at some point, either through the season or at the end of the season. And Jackson Dart, they stay in with Jackson Dart and just letting him learn on the go. I mean, it is his rookie year. And the best way for him to learn is to just get out there and do it. So I think they'll have a better team with him at the helm. Unfortunately, Eagles beat the Buccaneers. Eagles are 4-0 now, 31-25. Baker was 22 for 40, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns. So a decent game for him. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 24, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 9 times, 62 yards. Saquon Barkley, 19 carries, 43 yards. Bucky Irvin, 15 carries, 63 yards. Rashad White, 6 carries, 17 yards. Baker ran for 2 for 13. I kind of expected Philadelphia to go in and beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's riddled with injuries right now. They're struggling to get some people back. So hopefully they'll get some guys back for this week and pick up and win. Texans blew out the Titans 26-0. Way to go, Tennessee. Not even score. Stroud had a pretty good game, 22 for 28, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cam Ward, man, number 1 pick. Welcome to the NFL. You're having a shit year, dude. Probably because of the team you're on, but hey, it is what it is. Business decisions, right? Hopefully it'll get better for you. If not, just stand by because the suck is only going to get worse. The Rams beat the Colts. Danny Dimes couldn't pull out a miracle. He did have a pretty good game, though. 24 for 33, 262 yards, 1 touchdown. Can't be throwing 2 interceptions there, Danny Dimes. Not good for you. Matthew Stafford, though, old man in the NFL, 29 for 41, 375 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So Indianapolis gets their first loss. LA is still undefeated. LA's 3-1, and Colts are 3-1. Jaguars pull out a win over the 49ers. Brock Purdy's game back from his injury, 22 for 38, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Travis Etienne, 19 carries, 124 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 6 receptions and 92 yards. Trevor Lawrence, 21 for 31, 174 yards, 1 touchdown. Christian McCaffrey also ran the ball 17 times for 49 yards. Close game. It's good to see Jacksonville hang in with a team like San Francisco. They needed that win. They couldn't afford to go 2-2, so that's a good win for them. Talked about it earlier. Patrick Mahomes and them beat the Ravens 37-20. Lamar Jackson did go out of the game with an injury. Cooper Rush ultimately came in for a little bit. Mahomes was 25 for 37 for 270 yards and 4 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy was back from his injury, where him and Travis Kelce collided in the end zone a couple of weeks ago. He was 5 for 83 yards. Travis Kelce, 5 for 48 yards. Hollywood Brown, 3 for 38 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 4 for 36 yards. Pacheco caught a ball. So, this was a good win for the Chiefs. They could not have afforded to go 1-3 at this, at the season. Baltimore is in a bad spot right now, especially if Lamar is going to miss any extended amount of time. It's maybe difficult for them to continue to win. Bears beat the Raiders 25-24. Caleb Williams, 22 for 37, 212 yards and 1 touchdown. Ashton Jeanty, 21 carries, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Packers and the Cowboys. I didn't realize they tied. I didn't know we do ties anymore in the NFL. I thought they kept playing until somebody won. NFL, if you're watching, this is shit. Make them play until somebody wins. 40-40. Jordan Love, 31 for 43, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dak Prescott, 31 for 40, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Javonte Williams for Dallas, 20 carries, 85 yards. Josh Jacobs, 22 carries, 86 yards. I didn't even realize that. That's a shit rule, NFL. You need to fix that. You either have a winner or a loser. There are no participation trophies in the NFL. Monday night, the Jets and the Dolphins. The Dolphins pulled out a win against the Jets. The Jets are now 0-4. Justin Fields, you're a good quarterback, dude. I hate that you're on shitty teams. It's going to be a long year for you. Hang in there, man. He was 20 for 27, 226 yards, 1 touchdown. The Dolphins suck. But hey, they got to win. They're not losers anymore. And then the Bengals and the Broncos. Bo Nix, 29 for 42, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins, 16 carries, 101 yards. 28-3, Broncos win at home. They're 2-2 now. Good bounce back for Denver. They needed that win. So that's it for the NFL. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. Like I said, it was quick, just due to work schedules this week. Tonight's recorded. Thursday will be recorded when we pick our picks for the weekend, and we should be back next week with our live shows. But hey, if you enjoyed it, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on Beyond the Game. If this helps you in any way, please subscribe, review, share it with your friends, family, and on your social media accounts. Go join us on Instagram, Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. If you want to email us, we're at beyondthegamepodcast6@gmail.com. Please feel free to email us. We typically try to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. And we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Y'all have fun. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Be safe.